Hello everyone, DonTheCrown here, and today I want to talk about why I'm not like rage quitting Diablo 4. I know I see a lot of people on the Reddit, on Twitter, probably on the forums, and my YouTube comments, all that are really mad and are rage quitting, uninstalling, and I'm just not really all that pissed right now. I'm definitely annoyed by the Diablo 4 patch, but I kind of want to give a little bit of my insights as somebody who's been playing ARPGs for a very long time into like why this doesn't really bother me all that much. So to give you an idea, I've been playing ARPGs for a while now. I used to like stream Path of Exile over 10,000 hours. And yeah, I'm very used to seeing people get very upset by patch notes, think that the sky is falling, their build is destroyed, and then they go and play the season or go play the league and everything's fine. And yeah, PoE typically does a pretty good job of this. Now there are some seasons, there are some leagues where they need to adjust things, and typically like the first couple weeks of a league in Path of Exile are kind of like jokingly the beta, where things are going to have to get patched, things are going to have to get fixed, but people play it anyways and people have a lot of fun. So for myself, I'm looking forward to playing Diablo 4 again because I'm going to get level with my friends Pauls and Geef. We're probably live right now if you want to come hang out with us. And it's just going to be a fun time. There's no leaderboard, officially at least, in terms of leveling. There's no need to like really truly rush to the end game. And so I'm not super stressed about it. I'm just going to enjoy the journey. And yeah, I don't really care like if, oh, I'm doing like 5 or 10 less leveled nightmare dungeons than it was last season. That doesn't really bother me. Heck, I didn't even manage to kill Uber Lilith by myself. I had to have one of my mods like basically one shot the boss with Necromancer. By the way, that build's not nerfed, so you can still go one shot Uber Lilith with Necromancer with Bone Spirit. And yeah, takes a little bit more setup, but yeah, it's in the game still. And I'm just used to like ARPGs like kind of being like that, like not really worried about the leaderboard, not worried about pushing and stuff, just having fun. And so if you're not having fun with Diablo 4, you can just like take either the season off, take a couple of weeks off, see if they fix it. You're not going to be missing like any sort of economy. You're not going to be missing any sort of leaderboard. And so there's no real FOMO here. In Path of Exile, I always feel forced to play in the first 2 weeks because in those first 2 weeks, you can make more money in terms of currency in the game in those 2 weeks than you can like in months of grinding. And so you're like really forced to play early on if you're planning to play like any sort of trading league. And in Diablo 4, that doesn't exist. So if you don't want to come and play Diablo 4 right away, you want to see if they make any changes, fine. Like you're not really truly missing out on anything besides the gameplay you could have experienced with your friends. So I've seen a lot of people though complaining because like they nerf damage pretty big. I made a whole video about how vulnerable is still going to be number 1 and their whole nerfs don't make any sense. Yeah, I'm upset about that. Defense is being nerfed, I think, is also really weird, especially because some classes aren't incredibly tanky right now. My barbarian actually felt pretty squishy in one of the dungeons I did while we were getting ready for this season. I was pretty annoyed about that. Uh, they also went and nerfed cooldown reduction, which I think is just really dumb. I don't like this change at all. But I also see people complaining that experience has been nerfed and is going to be a worse time leveling up to 100 or even to endgame. And I just don't think that that's the truth. So my team, we leveled all the way up to level 100 on the day the game launched. So we were pretty fast. Like we were some of the fastest players to reach level 100. And it was brutal. We had to like farm the same dungeons over and over and over and over again. And it wasn't really all that fun and enjoyable. And I think that this current leveling system that they have now is going to be a lot better. They've made a lot more things beneficial for you to farm XP wise. Like whispers have been buffed a whole bunch of times. So like you're going to be able to bop around and do different things and still earn good experience. You'll be able to go and do like hell tides and get better experience. Nightmare dungeons, you get to teleport directly to, and they give you more XP. I think that these are all really good changes. And you might be like, but Don, they removed the buff that you get for killing monsters that are above your level. Now it's a lot worse. Well, yes, they did dial that back, but they're also giving you an XP buff in the season journey thing. So that XP is probably already offset. And so the killing monsters higher above your level just means if you're absolutely crushing it, you can get more XP for killing things that are higher level, potentially slower, or you just don't have to worry about micromanaging being 3 levels under all the time. Because before, if you're only 1 level under the content, you're missing out on quite a lot of XP. So gotta go micromanage that XP. Gotta make sure you're always 3 levels under, otherwise you're missing out basically a lot. And now it's just like, okay, we've dialed that back a little bit. If you're 2 levels under versus 3 levels under, it's not really that big of a deal. If you're 4 levels under, it's not that big of a difference. And so I like that because I don't like having to like always just micromanage the XP. And it's just going to be a lot smoother and easier for people to do. Season Journey, like I said, though, has like good aspects as well. I made a video talking about all the rewards. There's stuff like Bold Chieftains as a Season Journey reward. And I know a lot of barbarians out there that were like, I am level 82 and I still have not gotten this aspect. It's important to my build. And now it's just automatically given to you. And every class has an aspect that I think is really, really good for leveling as a Season Journey reward. And I think that's going to be great. Like Druids get the Pulverize Shockwave thing, which I know a lot of people are like, I hit level 90 and I never saw it. And yeah, now it's just in your guaranteed Season Journey, which I think is going to be pretty good. But yeah, like I said, like I think the XP is going to be better. There's no leaderboards in the game right now, so like, do I want leaderboards? Yes, kind of, but also kind of no. I don't really care about the pressure. I just want to have fun and enjoy playing the game. But like as a former Path of Exile player, I'm kind of used to being nerfed a lot and still having a lot of fun. And when I say I'm a former Path of Exile player, I'm a former Path of Exile melee primarily focused player. Like almost all of my builds are like melee or like attack based. And for the most part, that's like say that you're like a basic attack user in Diablo 4. Melee is not really well served for the most part in PoE, and it tends to get incredibly nerfed whenever it is any good. Just to give you an idea, like if you drop like a melee sword, for example, well, in order for this sword to be good, 2/3 of the like stats that can roll on it are bad. Like, oh, there's a ton of fire damage, and there's a ton of cold damage, and a ton of lightning damage. All of those stats are bad. And each one of those rolls is basically more prominent than physical damage, which is the only thing you care about. And so just even getting a good weapon in that game is very difficult. And then the very best one-handed sword is just a unique weapon. And it's been that way for like forever. And they don't really do anything about it. And so I'm used to just playing like that where, oh yeah, like GGG doesn't really care about my class, doesn't really care about my build. And that's just kind of how I'm used to feeling that way. I'm used to being like, oh, I'm playing Lancing Steel this season. Oh, they nerfed the build again by another 30%. It's fine. We'll still be fine. And we're still fine. And so I'm just not really all that impacted. There's always people that think that like the sky is falling with the patch notes, and they think like it's gonna be the worst thing ever. But really just like the fresh season restart always feels pretty good. Typically it's like in PoE, the fresh economy. In Diablo, I think it's just going to be the fresh like gearing up your character and reacquiring that power. And it's not going to be as noticeable that like you're doing lower level nightmare dungeons than you would think, unless you're like really invested in like doing like level 100 nightmare dungeon. Oh, you have to be farming level 70 nightmares. There's nothing in the game at all that forces you to do any tier of nightmare dungeon except for the season journey wanting you to clear one level 43 nightmare dungeon. So it just doesn't matter. I'm just going to be having fun, relaxing, enjoying the game, trying out different builds. And if we're really not enjoying the season, I'll probably just go play Undecember some more because I've been really enjoying that as well. Hopefully you guys have a great season and come by the stream. We'll be streaming live right now, and we'll probably be blasting as hard as possible for here to start, just having fun, enjoying leveling, and yeah, come hang out. Thank you much, guys. We'll see you soon.